You want brutally honest. This is what it is. We have been homesteading for 5 years, building the house, the shed to house, and all the stuff, and having the animals. And we're going to be brutally honest, just straight, no editing, talking to you, the people who are wanting to do this, wanting to homestead, or you're just starting to. 5 years. How are you? That was awesome. What do you think, babe?
This is the most broad question you've ever asked.
How do you like
What do I
homesteading
think about
after 5 years?
homesteading after 5 years?
I guess here's the thought. Because
Ask me what I think about homesteading in the months of like January, February, March. These are lovely months to ask a person how they like homesteading. Please don't ask me that in September when it feels like mid-August.
So I got an email from Justin Rhodes in the Abundance Plus. I guess, and I saw this video about like this couple. I have no idea who they are. I honestly didn't watch it. I'm sorry.
Like it's really
sorry.
helpful.
Well, but it's just like it's the how do you say that word? Quintessential like photo of like with the pitchfork and like wearing the overalls,
Sure.
like that old timey.
It's like Gothic farmer, I think is what it's called.
Okay, so they remade that as a thumbnail and they quit homesteading. And
Did they really quit?
Evidently,
Or is it
because
like a-
because Justin sent an email like promoting them, and I don't know if they have anything to do with Abundance Plus or anything, but they quit. And I didn't watch it probably because of the fact that I didn't want that into my psyche of like any of that.
No, that's legit. I get that. I think there's like a mental game. For sure.
And what he said was, he's like, the struggle is real. That's what Justin said. He's like, the struggle is real. Like, this is.
How long have they been homesteading? Do you know?
I think it was only like a handful of years.
That's where we are. So we're at a handful of years.
It was less than that. It was like 2 or 3.
It's also that parallel. We've been married almost 15 years. Sure. There's a parallel, I think, in the first few years of homesteading that is also the first few years of marriage. Like, you're going along, you're kind of tolerating the things that maybe aren't that big a deal to talk about. And then there's some things that are underlying that if you don't address, they can become real problems in the future. So we're 5 years in now, and I think just now, the biggest project that we just, I guess, got through phase 1 of, there's probably 2 to 3 phases, but we just finished that phase, and it's like, wow, this gives your brain room to think because of the infrastructure it created. So I think that a lot of...
You're talking about the water line project.
Yeah. So I think a lot of homesteading happens and we're just all going along. We're trying to make do with what we have. And we might have a bigger plan, but maybe not order because everything becomes a little emergency that you have to fix.
Yep.
And the infrastructure gives breathing room for the homesteader. So even if that's like, oh, I filled my freezer and that animal is no longer a chore at the moment. You know, like checking things off is nice. Our summer has checked nothing off. Our summer has checked nothing off. And that is taking up so much brain space. Imagine having a list of things to do and you just you have to keep bumping things down because you can't do that in 105 degree temps.
I don't understand when the sun is shining, you make hay. What's that one-liner? Mm-hmm. Like when the sun, like you make hay, like what is that? How do you say it? Is that it?
When the sun is shining, you make hay.
Yeah, we don't understand that here in Texas. At least not this summer. Because
well, if you were the hay field next to us, sure. But we don't have hay. So obviously our job actually is...
They haven't cut hay since June.
But I'm saying even our job is not to make hay. Our job is to prepare for making hay.
Is she awake?
I have to go.
Okay, so I'm glad that the baby just now broke all that stuff up.
A mini nap.
Yes, we are in the throes of summer, but we are giving you our review, and I'm going to look it up right now. 5-year review, brutally honest about homesteading. That was said badly.
I feel like
5-year homesteading review. We're going to be brutally honest.
Yeah, I don't feel like we're ever not. We're pretty honest.
We are. Goldie is about to calf. I'm just going through stuff, and Kelly's going to interrupt me.
I have never looked at a cow's backside. Spent so much in time and like mind space considering that cow's rear end. Like, we're checking it. The kids are checking it. I'm sending videos to friends. I'm like, okay, you've had a calf at your place before. What do you think? So I guess in the ag world, I'm sending butt pics to people of my cow.
I do film her butt
a lot.
Twice a day.
Okay, but the deal is we're not anywhere close. Now, we had a panic because last Sunday, we get up, we go to church. We are so on time, it's not even funny because Brothertons don't do on time very well unless it's just Bo. But we were all in the car. We're going to actually make it to Sunday school. Who even does that? And as we pull back, Goldie, who is in front of the cow, stands up. Let's get a little graphic here. She's just a flow of discharge straight from the backside to the ground, and all of us went, whoa. Yeah. We get to church where we have no cell service ever, and yet a text comes through from the owner of Buttercup, the heifer calf, feature her here, that we sold earlier in the year. She was AI'd on the same day as our cow, Goldie, and on the same day as my friend's cow, Penelope. So these three ladies, super preggo, supposed to be having their babies all on the same day, September 18th.
On Buttercup.
Last Sunday, like September 4th or something, Buttercup calves. And so we panic and we come home. We are filming the rear end. We are calling our friends. We are having slight moments of like, oh no, what if this baby comes in the next few hours? Are we ready for this? Start putting food in the oven. Be ready for meals, Kelly and Bo.
Nothing.
We are severely premature. It's now been a whole week. This cow has not calved.
This is more of the story of when Goldie calves has nothing to do with the review of homesteading.
It's accurate, though. Everything we do is for the first time. Well, the first time we install a water line, the first time we build a house, the first time we design a house, the first time we build a garden of this size. Like, everything is the first time.
I have an outline to follow.
I told you I probably wasn't going to follow that. I said the outline was great, but I know we're just going to have a conversation. So welcome to the conversation. And it's very exciting because we've had incubator eggs. We've had pigs give birth, but we've never had a cow. And it just feels so serious. It's not, but it's still good. It is like Super Bowl big. It is like Disney World epic. It is the moment of moments. This is the place to be, guys. And we're very excited. And I'm keeping a journal, which I've never done. And in the journal, open it up. First note is Goldie calving. And now I'm going to keep all our records here. And it's got the date when we start observing her and then little things about every day so that when we get back to the next cow and the next calving, we know what we're looking at. Because I can even get vets in our area on the phone, and none of them know what to do with a dairy cow. So it's me and my pal and her cow, Penelope, and my other pal who's raising her dairy, and we're all just trying to figure this out for ourselves. So it's very exciting. Goldie hasn't had her baby yet, but she will be having her baby, and I am so
allergic to Goldie.
I am also allergic.
That's the next one on. That was perfect. Seamlessly. I am so allergic. Kelly cannot. I am pregnant. I'm allergic to our cow. Kelly said, I am pregnant and I want to get a milk cow.
Hold on.
And we do it. And then after
2021, I was pregnant. I am not pregnant now.
After the baby is born, Kelly's like, I'm kind of like itchy. This is weird. And then it just gets worse and worse and worse. True. And now Kelly cannot touch Goldie or any of the cows and not get hives.
I get hives. My face is very itchy, and my eyes are so itchy that my eyelids like get puffy, and you can see the inside of my eyelid because I'm so allergic. Now, I've seen a holistic practitioner. We're going to start some supplements this week. It's going to be fantastic. I am just declaring into the ether that I am not going to be allergic to my cow anymore.
Deal.
And I am not going to get hives when I touch her. And I'm not going to need to take lemon, lavender, and peppermint to survive. But I'm not allergic to her milk. Her milk is fantastic. I do just great. I can filter it. I can turn it into cheese. I can make it in butter. Like, I don't want that to be. I miss milking her. Nevertheless, I am allergic to my cow.
So...
Unintended.
So that's the cow. In terms of the homesteading review, we've had rabbits, and now we don't have rabbits.
Right.
We have chickens, but honestly, in our rural town, it probably is cheaper to just buy
everybody has
farm
chickens.
Fresh eggs from our friends and not try to raise chickens.
Chickens are not my joy.
Now, we do love the in and out meat chickens. Like the meat birds, the broilers, that is a in and out. Like we found like that's a good rhythm of getting
It's like
that
a project.
Meat. Yeah.
There's a start date and an end date.
Yeah. So homesteading in terms of that, I want to do that. And we haven't done it in the last year because of Georgia, but coming in the fall, we're going to put in an order. We're going to fill up those 2 chicken tractors. We're going to raise some birds.
And we're going to have a calf.
Yeah. We love Goldie, our milk cow. Absolutely love her. Because when she is in milk, I'm reading from my outline. When she is in milk, it is the most productive thing we do all day. Immediately, the highest quality food goes from Goldie in the morning and into our fridge and ready to drink.
Because
that's fantastic.
I think you said this the other day, and it gave me a really good insight. Like a long time ago, before we were married, we did premarital counseling, and the guy in the couple that we were counseling with said, you know, as a husband and as a dad, my wife, will never know the stresses that I carry as a husband and dad. And the wife said to me, like, he will never actually know the stresses and the hardship that you carry as a wife. So, like, you have to carry them yourself and also for one another. So, you said this about Goldie. You're like, when my cow is in milk, I feel like I'm providing for my family. When our chickens are laying eggs, we feel like we're providing for our family. Or, for example, we just took some cows to be processed. That is a way of providing for our family. And it's not that it doesn't have anything to do with money, but like the very basics. If your cow is in milk, you are going to have dairy for your family. And when you're raising kids, especially these like preteen and teenage years,
that's what I'm saying.
This is what they need. They need calories. They need nutrient-dense foods. They need fats to absorb all their vitamins, all their minerals. They get so much from food that's straight from the farm, alongside of all the other lessons. But I do that gave me a lot of like light on one of the reasons you like the cow, because yes, you got it for me because I was like, I want a cow, I'm pregnant, let's have another gigantic animal. But it really does asset to our household.
Yeah, so when I can have when Goldie's in milk, because I'm going to get to why we keep on saying when she's in milk, because this is part of the review, I can get a gallon and a half. In the beginning, we should be getting at least 2 gallons or more, like every day. Mm-hmm. When Everett, our 12-year-old who is as tall as me, seriously, almost as strong as me, when he says, "Dad, can I have a pint of milk for dinner?" I can say yes. Yeah. I can say like, "Yeah, boy, you go for it."
We're kind of rationing right now.
Like right now, we're paying $10 a gallon for raw milk.
Which is totally worth it.
Absolutely worth it, yes. Here's the deal. Goldie, I don't know if she got sick. It wasn't really sick. It just is her body said, Well, I am pregnant, and I've been in milk for 2 years, and the protein weirdness of her milk started to break down.
It was a combination of late lactation, which is like she's been in milk for a long time, and being pregnant. Most people will keep their cows in milk, and every time they have a calf, they'll wait like 6 months and then they'll get their cows pregnant again. Well, we'd had our calf over a year by the time she was impregnated. So we had her AI'd around Thanksgiving. And our plan was from that November of last year until June of this year, she would be in milk. We wound up cutting that off a month early because the milk was just not milking. It was wanting to become cheese. There's this Instagrammer, Cheese from Scratch, and she says milk wants to become cheese. And it wasn't rotten. It wasn't gross. It was just already separating. This butter fat and this milk were separating. And so it was this kind of like, what is happening? That goes back to why I'm keeping all the notes, because no one could tell us. We talked to legit agricultural laboratories. We talked to other dairy farmers that are all large scale. None of them could help us. Some of them put us into a panic thinking our cow was terribly ill. She was not at all. She was just done producing milk. Her body needed to choose milk or baby, and it was choosing baby.
Well, it's funny, whenever we weaned her, we dried her up. We didn't wean her. Whenever we dried her up, and then we got the calves to wean, we got these two dairy calves.
2 steers.
Yeah, steers off of her. Her color in her coat came back.
She looked great, and I totally identified as a mother of 5 children. I'm like, oh no, there's like a moment where you get your light back, and Goldie was getting her light back once we stopped milking her. So she was dry a lot longer than we had anticipated, but it was really good for her health. But the third thing about that was the only people I could really have a discussion with about the health of our dairy cow were friends who also had dairy cows, but like 1 or 2 on their farm. The thing is, none of them had ever gone through this. So what we experienced is so important to document and for us to keep track of, because then when we start discussing regularly with other homesteaders doing this small scale farming, these conversations can be had, because there are some things that are just anomalies. No books were saying this. No large dairy was saying this. No one was saying what was actually going on until we could kind of surmise that. So I thought that was really good but hard to learn. It's like, sometimes you feel like you're in it alone, and sometimes you really are in it alone. Like no one can come rescue you. So you're just going to have to work your way through. Goldie's super healthy. She's looking great. She's just hot and tired and so pregnant.
She's due September 18th.
That's about 10 days from now, less than that.
All right. So pigs are amazing, but now we have too many. And probably going to process Missy, our sow, for our own pork needs. And because the reason is because then we'll have like another 1 to 2 years to maybe get another female instead of feeding her for 2 years without even breeding. Because we have enough feeder pigs. Like we already sold off all of our Idaho pasture pig breeders, the breeding quality. We already sold all of them off. So we're just waiting for our feeders to grow. And we don't have any pork. So right now we have an adult pig that is ready to go, and we're not going to breed her. So that's a hard thing. It's kind of weird. So we're trying to figure that out. Bill is awesome. He is an extremely productive pet in that sense.
He's so great, and he's just happy and makes all of us happy. We're happy to do our chores when we go to say hi to Bill. But I think with Missy especially, the reason we're considering even putting her in the freezer is because she's just kind of okay. And that's a hard thing to realize as farmers, is it's like animals don't have eternal souls. They have a purpose for a season. And she has had 3 litters, and she is a good mom. Her quality of piglets isn't our favorite. And her personality is really challenging to
It's good.
Work
it's
with.
Just not, we don't get as many breeders. I mean, I like the fact of
very many feeders. Her litters are small.
Yes. Well, her litters, you mean the numbers?
Yes.
Like the size, like...
No, the numbers. She only had, the largest litter she has had is 5
Okay,
alive.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Like the genetics are good. It's just like for some reason she's not popping out the 8 piglets that
really
we
isn't.
thought we were going to get. We got 2, and then we got 4, and then we got 5. I don't know if that means that it'll get more than that if we ever did it again. But really, it's not even 5. This round, it was like 4 1/4. Like this runt.
Because the runt is so
This runt,
small.
and it's the only girl. The runt is the only girl, and she is a 5th of their sizes. Like it's so.
As far as the breed goes, we really like. And one thing that I don't think you've said yet is their grow out is 18 months. So you could butcher them earlier,
I think we can do it in.
I'd be interested to see. I think
we can
our
do it in, like,
3
14,
yeah, one of the litters, there's 3 of them, and they are growing really well. They're about to go into the forest. So I think there's a lot of positive wins there. They're going to be less feed for us and more just like foraging. But they're going to take some time to grow out, especially compared to like a wattle mix or like a multiple mix feeder breed. Because they just take a little bit longer. But I'm really excited to see.
They don't take as long as a Kuni or a American carrot. No, what is that? American guinea hog. They don't take as long as them. It's not. I don't think it's going to be 18 months.
That's what he says.
Like they're already starting. We have some that are.
I'm expecting 18 months. Now, cool thing is, if it is 18 months, that would put us at about Christmas of 2024, and we could do some butchering right here on the property because it would be cool enough.
Yeah.
I love that idea.
I think we can do one of them in the spring, but we'll see. We'll see. That's what we're like. That's why we do this.
That's what we'll see.
It's fun. So we love the pond. But now it is almost dried up.
Now it's sad.
So I was going to do this video for today because we're running behind just because it's hot, letting you know. That's why we're filming here in the studio where I don't love the lighting and everything. It is still 98 degrees outside. And this is a not hot day.
This is our break in the heat.
Yes. Hopefully it's going to happen. But y'all, the pond is, like, I'm going to show you a video where the pond is just, it's depressing. I don't know how, like, it
feels
just
more like a puddle.
Yeah, it's $8,000, and I don't know if that's because it's new, but it's also because it hasn't rained since May.
I don't know if making this video is better for you or worse for you. Is it cathartic to get out all these feelings? I'm kind of like, yes, let's be brutally honest, but also, if we only look at like how half empty it is, let's look at this.
The fish are not dead.
The fish are not dead. And we have a pond. And the pond, we didn't ever expect it to be full running into the summer. We expected it to be semi-puddle-like going into the summer. But we had a very wet spring. And we should have another wet winter. I think it was more just the stun of this pond was full to the brim. Mm-hmm. Like all the way to the top. It was going into the overflow. Yep. And then we look at it at the end of the summer, and this is, if we haven't painted this picture, in May, we had rain, and in the middle of June, we had rain. It is now almost the middle of September.
We did not have rain in June.
We did. And then in September, it's the middle of the month, we have not had any rain at all for months. And in combination with that, we have had 105 degrees for a consecutive of over 60 days and a total of over 70, I think it's 79 days now, of 100 plus degree temperatures in Texas.
See, she followed the outline. It's like record breaking.
You know what?
Summer.
I didn't even know that.
I had it in there.
It just flowed out of me. It really is those things where it's like, we don't control a lot. We can have a plan, we can have an outline, and then something will spur on a totally different conversation. But the truth is, like, we control very little. This property is awesome starter learning property for us. I hope it is a forever property for us.
Well, I will say, because I've done videos about this, about buying land.
Yeah.
I've talked to a lot of y'all where we're in here in Texas, where you don't have any trees. Like that would...
Half of our property is
forest. Oh my
forest.
goodness, I don't know how I would do it. being able to walk from canopy to canopy under the shade.
It really is like 10 degrees cooler.
So
I wonder how many times, I wish I'd kept record, that you have said, I wonder if we're going to move out of Texas. We might need to move out of Texas.
You guys up north, you understand winter cabin fever. I'll be brutally honest. I am cabin fever. I wanted to move here to be in like
on the
outside
property, working.
and the first summer we moved here, it was rough. Well, actually it was the first full summer. It was rough. But then the last couple of summers it was like, hey, we got this. This is easy. This summer everybody says that 2011 was bad. And this one is now okay.
Yeah.
So let's say, what is our overall 5-year homesteading review? Do you love living in the country?
I do. I think it's hard to consider, is this better or worse than the city? But this is the perfect timing for us. The way we've seen our kids grow, the cool conversations that we have, even I don't know that we would ever do public school in this area, but we definitely moved away from one of the top rated school systems in all of the state. And I think it's nationally ranked as well. So like we took a big leap of faith there, and what we've gained in like quality of relationship is tremendous. Our kids are significantly older and helpful, like desire to see growth on our property. They're really proud when they complete a project and they're like, no way, we did that. Like, look how strong I am. Look at what we accomplished. They're just proud at a work that we couldn't have done in the city. I love the friends that we've made, like a surprising community that just doesn't make sense. We're at church this morning and my girlfriend Annie was like, I can't believe we go to a church that loves Jesus so much and that actually cares what the Bible says. Like, it's ironic, but sometimes you have to choose between that in a church when you're shopping, especially in a small town. You're just not guaranteed really sound biblical study and Holy Spirit-led community. It's beautiful, and it feels a lot like, oh gosh, we don't deserve that, because coming from a beautiful place.
And then we have our homeschool community, which is the exact same.
That's what I'm saying. The things that
amazing.
we're experiencing here are just like favor and mercy and so lovely. And we had fantastic community in Katy. I wanted, hey, if we could bring our whole crew of people, our church, all of our community here, that would be beautiful. That's just not what can happen.
We invited them. They just didn't want to come.
No, I'm saying like, obviously, we were not going to bring the whole city of Katy. And if I could have brought Proud Pie down the street with me, I would have done it. But I love the country. Like, I really don't feel like the sacrifices of convenience is really all we've sacrificed. So Costco's a little bit farther. And all of our places that we would shop are certainly a trek. But I feel like the only thing we have sacrificed is convenience. And for the sake of gaining everything that we have in experience and confidence and skill and knowledge, I feel like we've learned so much just connecting the dots because we live in the middle of the woods, in relationship with our animals, in connection with this specific property. Like, we want to tend it well, we want to steward it well. And I feel like in 5 years, we are doing that. So I feel like mission accomplished if the mission is to steward the land well. It doesn't mean we're done, but I think the active part of stewarding is underway, and I love that.
Okay, 2 things. You ready? Yeah. 1, you now know why Kelly's the writer, because she just speaks way better than I do. But 2, I'm about to rock her right now. She's calling me
for the internet.
She called me being glass is half empty. Kelly.
What?
Do you love raising animals?
Why? Why? Okay, here's the deal.
Glass is half empty.
There are
babe.
Animals that I love. And there are animals that I am so over. Yes, great. I get it. Chickens are convenient. They give you eggs. People like them. You can feed them from your hands. I don't like chickens. I don't want them. I don't care about them. I don't think they're fun. They are everywhere under your feet. They climb in your car when you don't want them to be. I don't like chickens. But
Free range. These are
they won't die. I've tried to leave them out. They don't get picked up by any predators. They don't leave my property. And so
we don't have issues with predators. It's well, no, we did that one time. That one time.
Yeah, not that we don't.
The chickshaw is legit.
I have
Nothing gets into that chickshaw.
I'm sorry. Did you want me to answer the question?
Yes.
Great. I have chosen to live in harmony with the chickens. I am just also choosing, well, I guess we didn't say that, for the summer, because it is frustrating to have to be out in the heat extra time. We brought every single animal that needs care closer to the house. Chickens are free-ranging. They will not be free-ranging in the fall. We will be putting them in
the
fencing.
crock pot.
The
old ladies are being turned into bone broth.
We are going to put them in a spot on the property where we can let them be, but they are not going to be on the back porch. They're not going to be pooping on
the
walkways,
Blackstone griddle.
on our outdoor shower. They're not going to be doing that. So I do love animals. I love our pigs. I love our cows. I like the bigger animals. We've had rabbits and chickens. I don't like them.
Well, you like the bunnies. That was a fun thing.
The
Like
bunnies.
you got
But then
mama
they become
bunnies.
big rabbits, and I don't love them.
I know.
So,
But you've been
you
saying
asked
that you're
me.
ready to get rid of the pigs too.
No, we're ready to get rid of Missy because she's just not desirable. If every animal has a job, she does her job like the girl who comes in and brings brownies and is like, sorry, I haven't seen you in a week.
So you're not opposed to having feeder pigs and...
We're good. We, the two of us, are good with a start and a stop.
Okay.
If everything has to be maintained forever, that's really hard. It was so great to have Goldie dried off for like 3 months. Not milking for 3 months was a really, really nice break. So I think that was great.
I would be milking, like y'all, I'm not kidding. I would be milking in probably 85-degree weather at 8:30 in the morning. Like, that's just nuts when it being that hot. So
it was 90 degrees at 10 p.m. the other night.
Yeah.
2 nights ago.
It just doesn't. So, okay. So I'm glad that I got you a little bit on the animal thing. Last question. Because I started this with the couple that said they're quitting homesteading. Yeah. And I even saw that as as an Instagram reel where she was like, everybody says that you need to like be a homesteader. Well, we did it for 7 years and we quit and we like our life better. So my question to you, do we want to move back to the city?
No.
After the hardest summer so far?
I think that's an easy no. I also think if you were to ask our kids, like that's the thing.
I have it in the...
Like we
don't even have a choice anymore.
But it's not even just that. It's like we chose to move here for our family's sake. Mm-hmm. We knew this would be a beautiful freedom for our kids to exercise everything from creativity to even just the time. Like this has required so much patient attention from us that we really had to let go of some bad habits that distracted us from our kids' needs. Or all of us working together as a team, those have been invaluable things that maybe we could have had in the city. But I think our kids associate that certainly with this place. They don't want to move back. I've asked them, like they even say to Georgia, they'll ask her while we're playing outside and they're like, do you love being a country girl? They'll say, it's so amazing that Georgia and Finley will never have memory not living on the farm. And the older kids' memories are fading a little bit, but there are things that, ever to walk out and just thank you, Lord, for this breeze. If we were in the city, we'd probably be at the pool every single day and we'd be spending a lot of time in the air conditioning. But animals, chores, watering does force us outside where we're grateful for the AC. But we can't spend every single day inside, never going out. And we can't just spend our day being entertained all day long by going from event and club and thing to the next. So I think they really appreciate it. There are some things I would work on though, or we are working on, which is like when we had a busy May and we had something probably just like 3 days out of 7 every week for the month of May. Every single person in our family had a meltdown at some point that month. They were like, we're so busy. We've just got so many activities.
I win.
There's so many events. And I was like,
we're hermits.
We
did it.
Are weak-minded humans that we cannot deal with a month of like several activities in a month. So I will say we have worked on that a little bit more of getting out of the house and making sure we're being a little bit more scheduled outside of our needed chores and school.
You're saying that the slow pace can kind of, the pendulum swings the other way. You're like, I don't ever want to do anything scheduled. I don't want to have to
there
go
was one day
to
where
Walmart 3 days in a row.
Mom, we've been in the car every day. Sometimes it was like just to go to the library. And we're like, okay, I think we need to be a little bit stronger mentally. But it is a thing that they have said is we love living here. We don't want to move. Even with the community of kids. Like we have a homeschool that the co-op has built out of like 40 something kids now. It's just been really solid community for them. And they've learned community, not just we see these people, we come home. We see these people, we come home. Like they're invested in each other's lives. They're invested in like the joy and pain that we share amongst families. Like this has been a real life-changing thing for them.
All right. Well, good.
I think so. Would you?
No.
Yeah. Even driving into Houston is like white knuckles.
It's like I don't think. I mean, there's a chance. Knock on wood, anywhere around here. I don't believe in that, but let's say Goldie just died out of nowhere. Like that would knock us off.
Let's not say that.
I know. I'm saying like serious or Bill. Like that would. Yeah. That would knock us.
We lost our main rabbit, our buck.
That hurt.
And that, like, Ella will still talk about that years later.
Rex.
She'll just, in her, like, sad states, she'll
Rex
be like, I miss Rex.
So the bigger the animal, the more important they are to the homestead. So, Goldie, when she's in milk, she runs the place. Like, she helps the place run so much better.
She's the queen.
So that would be a thing. Like, I remember, I don't know if any of y'all, I talk about them all the time. Chicken Thistle Farm. It was an old podcast. They had like a really bad sow, like a pit, like died during birth, and it was just
traumatic.
It was very traumatic for them, and they basically shut down everything because of that. They shut down their podcast. They almost shut down their farm. I don't think they've done anything. I don't know if they moved, but like everything just really wrecked them. And so I can understand how that could happen. I could see that happening. I don't see us getting tired of the work. I like the work. I feel like the work gets me to do stuff. I feel like we're kicking the dirt into the trench after the water line. So the fact that I still need to go outside and do that, it gives me a reason to put Georgia. I kept on wanting to call Georgia Goldie. Put Goldie on my back. To put Georgia Strapper on my back and go outside with a cup of coffee and to kick that in. Mm-hmm. And she likes being outside. It's just, it forces you to do stuff.
You like learning. Sure. You like to learn things. You get into a topic and then you want to learn all the things. So homesteading is almost endless. There's almost no end to the amount of things that you can learn that would be useful. I think you really like that. So learning to not only map out the right placement for the water line, but then like fix all of the pieces for the water line. And now the next phase is just fill it in. We can all help with that. Yeah. But then actually getting the water up and going and the animals back in that designated spot only then gives us a new opportunity to learn what happens when we intensively rotate this cow. Mm-hmm. That'd be cool.
Yeah. So there you go.
5 years. We love it. We recommend it. Yeah, that's it. Be a homesteader.
Kelly just reminded me. I forgot to say that
if you love this shirt,
yeah,
go to permaculturepastures.com. You're going to love them.